aren't just good wishes, but enablement. Why we can count on this, because God is faithful. What a comforting promise. God is faithful to us. Exercise will improve your body. I'm sure everybody in here knows this. Wes? A friend will lift your spirit, Wes. Did you know that, Wes? Okay. Good fortune will improve your circumstance. But only God can make you better. Only God. None of us live perfectly. We model pilgrimage, not perfection, but we do make progress. Spurgeon reflected, I believe the holier people become, the more they mourn over the unholiness which remains within them. I want you to think about that for just a second. The holier a person becomes, the more they mourn over the sin or imperfections that are within them. Think about that. Because the holier we become, the more like Christ we want to be. I got to tell you, family, Christ didn't have sin. And the holier we become, the more we see that sin. Holiness doesn't get us to heaven. It is what those who have promised heaven practice. Holiness is not the way to Christ. Christ is the way to holiness. Are we conformed to Christ? Almost done, family. Or as Lincoln lamented, have we forgotten God? I think we have. I think that's why we're kicking him out. I think that's why we're removing him from courthouses and schools. We don't want any more God. Do we delight in living for God's praise? Do we walk in love? Are we growing in our faith and practice? Are we growing? Are we becoming better Christians? I told my Sunday school class this morning that what does the Bible teach us about not growing? The Bible teaches us that if we are a limb that is not producing good fruit, we are cut off and we are cast into the fire. I got to tell you, fire doesn't sound very fun. In fact, some of the teens this morning wasn't quite grasping the complexity of what being cast into the fire was, so I had to draw them a picture. And I drew Chris doing his face, and I drew flames behind him. He was crying. They got it. They understand it now. So Chris understood it before Shelby did, so Chris drew long hair on him to make Shelby look like she was burning in hell. But I think we got the point. Holiness is not optional for the Christian. It is not an elective, it is a major. By John White. It is a major, family. It's not a choice. Not if we're Christians. We should strive to be as holy as saved sinners can be. If we see holiness as unattainable, we won't attempt to attain it at all. We are saints set apart for the Master's use. May God bless and sanctify each and every one of us to be holy. As our musicians make their way to the front this morning, I want to ask you this morning, a very serious question. Are you living for God? Are you really doing it 100%? Do you feel like you're sanctified? Do you feel like you're really holy? Do you feel like you're meeting God's expectation for that next level? If you don't feel like you are this morning, I want you to push your pride aside, and I want you to come up here and I want you to pray. Everybody in this room will be praying with you. Push your pride aside and pray. We don't know when he's coming back, family. It doesn't matter. We can forecast till the cows come home. We can blood moon this, we can whatever, it doesn't matter. We've got to live to the best of our ability. When the master comes back and he does not see his servant working, the servant's in trouble. The servant's fired. Get it? Fired? Yeah. I like that. So if you have a need this morning, please come up.
Last week, we stood in the gap